Hey guys, welcome back to Home Built, and today we are going to finally be starting to get this engine ready to go back in the car. Okay, so as I said previously, today's episode is going to be getting this finally ready to bolt back into the car. Now there's a few bits and pieces that still need to be bolted back onto this. There's a bit more cleaning of parts, etc. to do. Another thing that I've come across, this is the distributor that came on the car, but I also got this distributor with the car as well. The smaller one is a D6095A, and the other one is a D6K917. I have no idea what they are or which one is better for the job. This one looks like it's got some sort of electronic module on the side, whereas this one is looks like a much simpler version. I'm swaying towards the simpler version, maybe the simplest thing to fit to the car, but guys, I have no idea. Let me know in the description if you have any tips, etc. on what I should run on this, what's going to be easiest to set up for a numpty like myself. All right, so anyway, first things first, I think, is we've got some parts to clean. So let's get out and start washing and cleaning some bits and pieces, including that gearbox. All right, that pilot bearing changed over much easier than I expected. I took my flywheel in, I've had it machined, so it's all nice, flat mating surface, and I've got a nice new clutch that I'm about to stick onto it. So it's time now to bolt it back down. I've bought some new flywheel bolts. I couldn't find them. For anybody searching for parts for these, I struggled because they're so old. Trying to buy the flywheel bolts, I stupidly sort of went, oh, they must all Nissan be the same, and I ordered some for an SR20, and they are not correct, because there's actually 8 bolts on the flywheel on SR20, and there's only 6 on this. It's actually, these take the same parts, the same clutches, the same flywheel bolts as RB engines. So that's a good tip for those of you who are trying to struggle and find bits and pieces for these things. A lot of the stuff flowed over from the L series to the RB series, including flywheel bolts. So I'm going to put a bit of Loctite on these and tighten them down to whatever the torque spec says in the book, and clean this up, get the clutch gone. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I've got this all now reinstalled. So basically, for those who don't understand completely how a clutch works, basically you've got the slave cylinder which bolts on here and pushes against this arm. And as it pushes against the arm, it pushes that thrust bearing forward. And you can see there that it comes forward on the shaft. What that is doing is when that comes forward, that is pushing against the pressure plate here, these splines which spring, and they release the clutch plate which is in between there from the flywheel. So that's basically how it all works. I've got it all bolted together now. It all seems to be going quite nicely. So now is the moment of truth, and I've got to try and bolt this gearbox up to this clutch and pull this out. These things are super important. Years and years ago, I've only done 1 or 2 clutches ever, and years we did not have one of these. We tried to make something up out of a broomstick to try and get this this clutch plate perfectly centered underneath the pressure plate. And if it is not 100% perfect, getting these little splines here to line up with those splines in there and everything to lock in properly is a nightmare. Trying to get this, particularly because gearboxes are heavy, and if you're doing it under a car, you wrestle backwards and forwards, lifting and shaking the clutch, and it doesn't work. So let's see how I go now. I'll give this a bit more of a clean up around the edge here, and then see if we can actually bolt this gearbox up to this engine. All right, we have our gearbox mounted to the engine. I had to use a couple of extra washers on the bolts that I've got, because the bolts that came with this that were holding the bell housing onto the engine itself were a bit too long. So they're obviously not the correct bolts, but they all seem to torque up okay with just a little bit of extra spacing. They're just about less than 5 mil too long. That may become an issue if I wanted to change the clutch inside the car, like take the gearbox off while it's in the car at a later date. These may interfere with the firewall. I'm not sure about that. I've never dealt with this engine in the car, so I have no idea how close it is. Some of you might be able to tell me in the comments if that's a huge no-no to use those bolts, but they seem to do the job and they torqued up okay, so I'm happy enough for now. Some of you asked me about the gearbox. I do not plan on rebuilding the gearbox if I don't have to. I have no idea what condition internally this gearbox is like. I believe it's a 5-speed. We'll just try it and see. If it's dead, then I may have to do something about it later, but for the time being, I just want to leave it alone and just get the thing in the car and get the car running. I've got a hoist now. As long as I don't smash my head on it, it should help to put things like that in and out pretty easily. So, all right. Well, that is definitely all the time I have today, so that must mean it's time for Fun Facts with Mrs. Jeff.
Hey guys, the first use of a dry single plate clutch was back in 1893 by Charles Duryea. Previous to that, leather-lined, oil-bathed, multiple disc clutches were used, but they didn't last long before burning out. Charles Duryea and his brother Frank are credited as the first American gasoline-powered car manufacturers. Their first road test was on September the 21st, 1893, when they drove their motor wagon, which was actually built on a second-hand horse-drawn buggy. It was powered by a 4-horsepower, single-cylinder petrol engine. This car went on to win America's first car race in 1895. And only 6 of the 80 cars that entered that race actually started. And of those 6, only 2 finished, a Duryea and a Benz. The brothers went on to build 13 cars by hand in their garage to meet demand, becoming America's first ever commercially produced vehicle.
All right, guys, well, that's really coming together. The clutch is on. It took a bit longer than I thought, as everything always does, but it's getting ready to go back in the car. I'm getting really excited. The front of the car is going to finally be sitting at a more normal height. It's going to be great.
And tomorrow Jeff's cleaning the garage.
Yay.
It's just going to be great.
All right, guys. As always,
please like and subscribe if you're enjoying the show, and you can follow us on Facebook, so on. Don't forget we've got merchandise for sale, so if you've bought something from us, thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, guys. See you later.
Where they drove their their motor wagon. Motor wagon. I said road wagon. Okay. The first road test was on September, where they drove their road wagon. No, 4-horsepower petrol cylinder engine. Yeah. That's good.